Hello guys, welcome to your market report for this the 13th of February 2019. Here's the thing. Brexit, looks more and more now like it's actually going to happen on March 29th. And I don't see any news that they're going to be able to do anything but go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. That's a Theresa May. Go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. And keep a firm upper lip as you do. Go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Anyway, so what's happening is, let's get the charts open right here. And let's take a look at some of the stuff going on. Let me pull this chart down a little bit so I can get at my... okay, there we go. So first we're going to take a look at the German bank, Deutsche Bank. They're up just a tad today. They're up a quarter of 1% today. They're at 7.55 euro today, and the price it has been a little bit lower, but Deutsche Bank, they're just keeping their head above water. They're not at their lowest. They were down below 7 for just a little while there, not long ago. Let's take a look at the silver price today. We're up 10 cents on the day so far, 15.77, and she's kind of shooting up right now while we speak in price, but let's just see. It's getting close to the top end of that range. The range it's been in, probably the top end of the range is just below $16, and it's shooting up straight up right now, so we'll see if it can break through that range. Let's take a look at gold. And taking a look at gold to kind of give us a better idea, because silver and gold follow each other price. Gold's up 650 today so far. Gold's shooting straight up right now, is spiking upwards, and gold is getting up toward the top end of that range that it's been in lately. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's hope she keeps going up. It's nice to see. I like to see that. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency today. Cryptocurrency shot upwards, and it's been holding its gains for a couple days. It's at 35.73, and it's been trying to creep downwards ever so slightly, but it's been holding that gain that it made, and that's kind of important. That's kind of important. It's able to hold that gain. That's a bullish sign when it's able to hold the gain that it made. Now, there was a spike when it made that gain up to 3,711. There was a spike in volumes. Then the volumes settled back down low. The volumes have been starting to increase again quite recently now. So it's probably getting ready to make a move. That's because the volumes are increasing, either to the downside or upside. I would tend to think probably to the upside. Now, we're at $120 billion market cap on cryptocurrency today. And we did touch 122 billion, but we're 120 billion 814 million. So we're nearly 121 billion with a Bitcoin dominance of 52.7%. Let me see what Litecoin's doing here, because that's my favorite coin. Litecoin right now is at $41.93. So it's holding its gains too. And from what I understand, there's been a lot of volume and trading in Litecoin quite recently. Let's take a look here at the stock market. Well, first crude oil. We're on crude oil here. Crude oil's been making some gains. Let's take a look at the 1 month. It's been creeping upwards, because back here on the first 14th, so January 14th, 2019, it was $50.69, and now it's $53.99. So it's been creeping upwards, but ever so slowly over the period of the month. Today we're at $53.99. We're up 89 cents on the day, 1.68%. So we've had a pretty good little gain today so far on crude oil. Now that's for sweet light crude. The Dow Jones Industrial Average today. I'm going to refresh the page here. It looks like it's up 130 points on the day. We've had quite a little rally, 132 points. right now it's up. We've had quite a nice little rally for the last little while in the Dow Jones. Let's just take a look here at the chart and go back over this 1 month, and you can see this rally we've had, and it's continuing. I wonder how much more legs it has, This is what I'm wondering about this rally. Now let's take a look at bonds and rates today. See climbing bond yields. We're up. The most is the 5-year. The 5-year is up almost 3.5 basis points. The 2-year is up over 3 basis points. So we're seeing the short end of the curve rise a little bit more. Of course, the really short end of the curve, the 3-month, is unchanged today. But we're seeing a rising bond yields. On the 30-year, up 1.3 basis points on the 30-year. So we're at 2.7 on the U.S. 10-year. That's the one I watch the most, is the 10-year. Now we're going to take a look at the U.S. dollar. 96.86 today. And it's been hanging just under 97 lately. Pull the chart down a little bit so we can get a little bit better look at it. Excuse me. 96.86 today, and it looks like it's trending upwards. Well, gold and silver are shooting up, and the dollar has been slowly trending upwards today. It's up 0.16%. So, it's kind of unusual to see the dollar going up simultaneously with gold and silver going up at the same time. That's a little bit of an unusual thing. So, we're going to have to keep our eye on the Brexit. I don't see the Brexit taking the world economy down, but it can act as a trigger, because we have these other events in the world, that the Brexit could trigger, like Deutsche Bank and the Italian debt and the situation in China right now, and it could trigger the start of like a recession, a worldwide recession, because it's ready to start, and Brexit could actually act as a trigger to get these other things moving. And when these other things moving, it might intensify what's happening with the Brexit. The whole thing, one thing might trigger the other thing, and then it's kind of like a back and forth sort of a situation where the Brexit pushes this way and makes something topple, and then that in turn toppling makes the Brexit worse than it would have been, and the whole thing start to fall like dominoes. It could actually trigger the dominoes to start falling within the financial system. And believe me, there's quite a few dominoes out there ready to fall. We got China. The situation in China is probably the biggest of these dominoes, and people can't see it. But China is got themselves, with their shadow banking system is terrible, and their real estate market. Those two things are interlocked in together, the Chinese shadow banking and the real estate market. And so if the real estate market starts to roll over, it's going to be hard for them to control that $7 billion US that's in the shadow bank. No, I mean trillion. Sorry, I said billion. I meant trillion. $7 trillion within the shadow banking system. They could all start to roll over simultaneously, And the Chinese government, they're already reaching the limit of how much they can borrow to try to borrow their way out of this mess. From what I understand, there's about $3 trillion a year they've been using to stimulate their economy and keep it going. So they've been actually running, because these Chinese state-owned companies, an awful lot of them are zombie companies. It means they do produce products. They do produce services and products and everything else. But the problem with that is they don't produce them at a how do I put this? They don't produce them in a money-making fashion. They, like an American company, if they fail to make money, in other words, if they produce a product and it costs them more to produce the product than they're getting for the product, they'll go bankrupt. But these Chinese state-owned companies, they can actually afford to produce products and have the products cost more to produce than what they're getting for the products, because the state just comes in and I gotta plug in my battery here. There we go. Okay. so what it costs more to produce the product than they actually get for the product, but the state backs them up, the Chinese state, by borrowing more money. This is how they've been running the whole thing, on borrowed money. $3 trillion a year. Just in 1 year, they borrow almost as much money as the Fed used in economic stimulus over a 10-year period. Because the Fed used like $4.5 trillion on their balance book to cover like 10 years. So China is doing like three trillion every year, you know. And I know now at this point the United States is getting up to the point where their debt is racking up like $1 trillion a year, you know. But you have to understand that the United States has unlimited ability to produce money. They can make as much money as they want forever, you know. But what's that going to do to the dollar? Once the markets all figure that out, that they can make as much money as they want forever, I mean, what's that going to do to the dollar? You know, and once the dollar starts to be eroded, really seriously eroded as the world reserve currency, because it's linked to oil, and now the Chinese especially are disengaging it from oil, and they're starting to purchase oil and other things, you know, the dollar is going to start to take an awful hit at a certain point. And if the Fed continues backing off of their program of quantitative tightening, then all faith is going to be lost in the Fed at that point. And I mean, their credibility's already gone. But I don't think the whole thing has really been priced in yet. And the dollar's going to take an awful hit, you know. And what we're going to see is we're going to see us entering into a period where we're starting to move toward a hyperinflation, but it's going to be slow at first, and that's going to pick up steam. And what's going to happen in the end is ultimately they're going to have to do a reset on the dollar. Probably going to have to release some new form of dollar. The old dollar will, they'll probably give you a certain amount of time to transfer your old dollars into the new dollars. And it's just my guess that probably they're going to go with some sort of a cryptographic dollar. This way they can kill two birds with one stone. They can get rid of cash, because the new cryptographic dollar won't be in a cash form. You'll have to use it on your cell phone, you know. And they, at the same time, they'll be able to get out of the hyperinflation by transferring all the value over into these new dollars, and then this will be the form of the reset, you know. So we're going to have to wait and see for that, but Fed coin might be in the future, you know. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye, guys.